Welcome to Staventabs on iPad. In this tutorial, you'll learn the basics of working with guitar notation and tablature. To create a new score, tap the Create Score item on the main screen. In the dialog that appears, select Choose a template to create a project using a template. Scroll to the Solos section and choose the Guitar Solo template. The score editor is now open, and let's start by setting the key signature and time signature. To change the key's signature to G major, open the corresponding menu in the left panel, select the desired key signature, and you'll see the changes applied to the staff immediately. Now let's change the time signature to 3/4. Open the corresponding menu and select the desired value. Next, we'll explore how to enter notes, starting with tablature. The guitar is treated as a transposing instrument, so notes written on the staff sound an octave lower. This is the default setting for easier notation, but it can be turned off if needed. To add a D4 note on the second string, select it using the arrow button, then press 3 to set the fret. To create space for the next note, tap the right arrow button in the bottom right corner. This moves the cursor to a new position and automatically creates empty space on the second beat of the bar. Let's add a G3 note on the third string. Switch to the third string and press 0 on the tablature input panel. Next, let's change the note value to an eighth note. Open the panel in the bottom left corner and select the corresponding value. Using the same steps, let's add a few more notes in sequence: A3, B3, and C4. Now the first bar is fully filled. To create the next one, simply tap the same right arrow button. This is designed to speed up the note entry process. More traditional options, like inserting bars before or after, are also available, but won't be covered in this tutorial. They can be accessed using the plus button located to the left of the arrow controls. A new bar has been created, and there is already space available for the next note. Let's add a D4 note there. Notice that the note in the new bar has the same duration as the last note in the previous bar. Here we need a quarter note, so change the note value using the panel in the bottom left corner as before. Let's add 2 more G3 notes in sequence. As you may have noticed, the note value is already set to quarter notes, since the last position from which empty space was created used that duration. We've reached the end of the bar again and can create the next one. Here, the same button can also be used to create another bar right away, since there is empty space at the end of the current bar. This is especially useful when you need to create multiple bars quickly. The next feature to explore is copy and paste. First, select the starting position. Then hold and move to the right until the selection includes 2 bars. You can see that the right panel has changed. Instead of the numpad, it now shows action buttons. These are available in fragment mode, where selections appear with a dashed outline and 2 handles. To copy the selected area, tap the corresponding button in the action panel. Now choose where to paste the copied notes. Just tap the Replace button, and the copied notes will appear in these 2 bars. You can tap anywhere within the selected area to switch back to note entry mode. We'll tap the beginning of the third bar, since we want to edit the D4 note there. Now we'll take a look at adding and removing notes with a virtual fretboard. To open it, tap the Virtual Instrument button in the bottom status bar. To delete the D4 note, simply tap it on the second string at the 3rd fret of the fretboard. You can see that a rest has automatically been added to the staff where we remove the note, matching the duration of a quarter note. The duration stays the same because the app uses the concept of a rhythmic event, a position that can contain a note, a chord, or a rest. The duration is always applied to this event, which is why rests behave just like notes when it comes to duration. Now we'll replace the rest with an E4 note by tapping the open first string on the virtual fretboard. We'll move to the next rhythmic event using the right arrow or by tapping it on the score. Here, we'll replace the note by removing G3 and adding C4 instead. We'll now update the following notes: A3 to D4, B3 to E4, and C4 to F#4. In the 4th bar, we'll only change the first note from D4 to G4, while the other two remain unchanged. Close the virtual instrument and continue entering notes with the numpad. We'll add the next 4 bars this way without going into detail, since the same steps are already familiar and easy to repeat. In the last bar, we end up with a dotted note. Let's look at how to create it. Tap the currently selected note value button and select the required number of dots from the pop-up menu. Now let's create a second voice and write notes for it across these 8 bars. Use the voice switcher in the bottom right corner to switch to voice 2. If voice 2 doesn't exist yet, it will be created automatically. Voice 1 becomes transparent because it is no longer active. Open the drop-down menu from the voice switcher and access the voice settings for all voices on this track. The notes in each voice currently use automatic stem directions. We'll set voice 1 stems up and voice 2 stems down. Now set the color for voice 2. It will be black as well. Tap the checkmark button to save all changes made in the voice settings. Back in note entry, we'll jump to the very beginning of the score by tapping this position. Up to this point, we've used tablature input and the virtual fretboard to place notes. Now it's time to look at some other input methods. Use the button in the top right corner to open the drop-down menu and choose the note entry type. We'll start with the staff positions type for the first 4 bars and then switch to the pitches type. To add a G2 note, move several positions downward from the currently selected staff position using the down button on the panel that has appeared. Once the desired position on the staff is selected, tap the plus button to add the note. You may notice that the plus button has changed. It is now selected and shows a natural sign. This means that, in the current key signature of G major, this staff position uses a natural accidental by default. It is designed this way for convenience and faster note entry. Now change the note value to a half note, then use the right arrow to move to the next position, where the following note will be entered. To add an A2 note, move to the second ledger line below the staff, then tap the plus button. Notice that part of the bar is highlighted in red. This means the notes in the second voice extend beyond the length of the bar. Here, 2 half notes take up 4 beats, while the time signature is 3/4, allowing only 3 beats per bar. The portion that does not fit is shown in red, making it easy to spot notes that may not play back correctly. If we change the note value to a quarter note, you'll see that the red highlighting disappears. Next, we'll add the notes B2, C3, and B2 in sequence, each as a dotted half note, using the same steps as before. Let's move on to the pitches panel and see how note entry works there. To begin, we'll switch to the corresponding input type. To add a 2, simply scroll down to it and select the button with its note name. Change the duration of this note, then add a G2 note and adjust its duration as well. Now we just need to finish the remaining 2 bars. We'll do this the same way, without going through each step again. Since the dynamic markings are needed right now, let's hide them for a cleaner view of the score. To do this, open the instrument editor using the instrument name button in the bottom status bar. Then go to the notation forms for this track. Hide dynamic markings for both voices, and tap the checkmark button to apply the changes. Now let's return to the beginning of the composition using the rewind button in the toolbar. Then switch back to voice 1. Before listening to the result, let's set the tempo to 100 BPM. First, we need to close the time signature panel that's open on the left, then open the tempo panel by tapping the button showing the current tempo value. Since there is no preset for 100 BPM in the tempo panel, we'll switch to the detailed tempo settings using the button at the bottom of the panel. In the tempo settings, press the -5 button 4 times to reduce the tempo to 100 BPM, then tap the checkmark button to apply the changes. Everything is ready to be played back. Simply tap the play button in the center of the toolbar. Tap the close button to save the project. It has also been saving automatically every 5 actions, but this will take us straight back to the file menu where we started. And that's it. You now know the basics of working with guitar notation, useful for writing guitar parts. Congratulations. Thanks for watching.